You need to tie your hair up, by use irregular white shark. So, during the 1970s, my dad worked for the Royal Mail, British Postal Service, as a postman. Like many men at the time, he had long hair, just below his shoulders. His managers had an issue with this and told him he needed to sort his hair out and tie it up if he wasn't going to cut it. Now, my dad is an arsehole, and it came in handy here. He went home that day and told my mum, and she agreed to get up early to tie his hair for him before work. The next day, he went into work with the most delightful pigtails, tied up with some lovely pink ribbons. My dad greeted his manager and said he'd tied his hair up, as requested, and then went off to do his round. He wore his pigtails for a week until coming back with his hair down after a weekend off and never got shit for it again. Rude client wasted almost 1 hour to hear same info I told her already from different employee, by user Ewent Shortnick. My first post here, not sure if it better fits here or at r/petty revenge, but anyways. Some years ago I worked at bank office, not in the US. I was mediocre at sales, but good at service and processes, conditions, pricings etc., so I was put at administrator position, not a manager one. My job was to meet incoming clients and help them to solve their problem by helping them with the ATM or mobile app, or by navigating them to the right specialist via electronic queue, etc. So there was this woman, let's call her customer, she came to the office and asked for money withdrawal. I recommended her to use ATM and she told me she already used it, but can withdraw more due to daily limit. I asked how much she want to withdraw, it was 600,000 of our local currency, and replied that due to bank policy to withdraw that amount of money via cashier she need to order it in 5 days, for safety reasons, and only amount we can give her today is 150,000 without fee and 300,000 more with 2.5% fee, but she can use ATM tomorrow and withdraw all needed amount with no fees, because daily limit will refresh. She wasn't happy, and I can understand this, but then she started being rude and unreasonable. Customer, I need to talk with more experienced employee. What do you mean I can't withdraw my money? It's a bank. Me, they will tell you the same, it's a bank policy, fastest and cheapest way for you to withdraw needed amount is to use ATM next day, technically after midnight, if it's somehow urgent. Customer, no, I don't want to talk with you, you are some newbie, just give me queue number and I'll talk with proper bank worker. Now worth noting that I was most experienced employee in the office in terms of operational work, including manager, so I giggled inside, but that was her clear will, so I gave her number and moved on. 20 minutes later, yeah, it was busy evening, her number was called to desk and she started asking same questions from a new girl, worked around 1 month at this point. Let's name this girl Eve. She wasn't familiar enough with everything, so she started casual identification procedure, by checking client ID in the UV, searching for client profile in database, sending her SMS code to approve entering profile etc., so around 5 minutes more were gone. Then Eve asked what operation lady want to do and lady repeated her question. Eve tried to start withdrawal and noticed she can't make more than 450,000 and there is fee. And what do you think? She called me to help. I walked around the desk and asked Eve what happened. Eve, look, customer want to withdraw 600,000 and I can't type more than 450,000 and there is fee. Me, I'm sorry, I can't help here, client insisted to have more experienced employee to answer his questions. And left back to my workplace. After that there was some banter between customer and poor Eve, trying to explain same stuff while I typed everything to her in work chat. Then she gave up and offered customer to talk with manager, if she's unhappy. She waited 20 more minutes for manager and heard same info I told her 50 minutes ago and Eve repeated 20 minutes ago, today she can have 150k for free and 300k more with fees, after midnight she can have 600k with no fees via ATM, and in case of big withdrawals in future she need to order cash in advance. Customer left furiously not looking at me. TLDR, bank customer wasn't happy with my consultation, telling me I'm nobody, and then lost 50 minutes to hear the same answer twice. Document every noise complaint, so I did, by user deepest pokes. I live in student housing in Uppsala. Old building, thin walls, you know how it is. My upstairs neighbor complained about me twice last month. Once because I was vacuuming too late at 8 p.m. on a Saturday. Once because my friend and I were talking in the kitchen at like 10:30 p.m. on a weeknight. Both times the building manager knocked on my door the next day. Very serious about it. Told me the quiet hours are 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. and I need to be more considerate even outside those hours. I tried to explain that 8 p.m. on a weekend seems reasonable for vacuuming and that we were literally just having a conversation at normal volume. He said it doesn't matter, if someone complains he has to follow up, and maybe I should examine my lifestyle choices. Okay, so like. This annoyed me because my upstairs neighbor is not quiet at all. I hear furniture dragging at midnight, loud TV, footsteps constantly, bass from music. But I figured that's just apartment living and never said anything. Building manager said if I have concerns I should document them. Every incident, date and time, description of noise. Then he can address the pattern. So I did. For 3 weeks I wrote down every single noise I heard from upstairs. Footsteps at 6:45 a.m. TV volume at 11:15 p.m. Chair scraping at 1:30 a.m. Shower running at 6:20 a.m. Footsteps at 7:10 a.m. Footsteps at 9:40 p.m. Footsteps at 11:55 p.m. I had 4 pages of documentation. Times, dates, type of noise, duration when I could estimate it. Gave it to the building manager last week. He looked at it for a while and then said something like this is excessive and normal living noises aren't violations. I said sure, but you told me to document concerns, so I did. He said he meant legitimate disturbances, not someone walking in their own apartment. But here's the thing. He still had to give the list to my upstairs neighbor per building policy once a formal complaint is filed. Which apparently my 4-page document counted as. My upstairs neighbor left a note under my door yesterday. She's a PhD student, works weird hours because of lab access times. She said the list made her cry because she's trying her best and didn't realize I could hear normal footsteps. Now she's apparently walking around in socks only and feeling anxious in her own apartment. I feel like absolute shit about this. I wasn't trying to make someone anxious, I was trying to show the building manager that his standards were ridiculous. He sent an email to both of us about community living expectations and mutual respect, which solved nothing. Don't touch my garbage, by user Humsick Panda. Hey all, friendly neighborhood trash panda here, the giant kind, not the bandit kind, it'll make sense in a minute. Backstory, I work as a sanitation engineer with a primary focus on residential communities. I'm a garbage collector for houses. See, it makes sense now. Our collection is handled automatically. Our trucks have a hydraulic grabber that we control from inside the cab to grab carts and dump them into the truck. We generally do not need to get out of the truck. We're not manually lifting and tossing garbage. It's a pretty easy gig. What most people don't realize is the rules for garbage collection. There are a lot of rules placed on homeowners/residents. What materials are acceptable, size limitations, if your garbage bin lid isn't fully closed, and a big one is bin placement. All bins need to be 1 meter away from, basically anything else, parked vehicles, other bins. This is to ensure ease of using the hydraulics to grab the bins, and also to prevent possible damage like scraping someone's car or busting a headlight or something. Generally this isn't an issue in that, with a bit of practice you get good at grabbing bins even if they're parked right beside each other, or we'll just hop out of our truck, move the bin a little so it's easy to grab and then move it back. Reasoning for this is 1, we're not a holes, and it's just the nice neighborly thing to do since myself and most of my colleagues live in the same community we work in. 2, it's actually a lot of paperwork for us to fill out for violations, so it's significantly easier to just take the 30 seconds to move the bin than the 5 minutes to do all the paperwork to issue a violation ticket. Story, we service a community that does both garbage and recycle on the same day, 2 bins, 2 trucks, 2 drivers. Most residents will put both bins side by side touching each other, a violation, so what we'll do is whichever truck gets to the location first will grab their bin, dump it, then move it maybe a foot or 2 away from the other driver's bin so the second driver has an easier time grabbing it. It saves time for us, and makes things run smoother. And we don't get complaints from people. Until we do. A resident complained that we were moving her bins and word traveled to the higher-ups. Myself and my colleague got disciplined, instructed to place his bins back exactly where we got them from, and then were monitored via our dash cams for a few weeks to ensure compliance. An out supervisor would take a trip out to the specific resident who complained after our shift to ensure the bins were not moved. Not appreciated being discipled so severely because some fat cow had to take 2 extra steps to get one of her bins. We complied to the letter with her request. Unfortunately for her, she had a habit of placing her bins side by side, which is a spacing violation. So for 2 months, every week we would get to her residence, bins are side by side, so we can't grab them due to not enough space, fill out paperwork for a violation and place the violation ticket on her bins, and not dump her bins. She finally got the hint after about 2 months and started spacing her bins 3 feet apart, and never complained about us moving her bins again. She also had to pay several small fees for extra pickup, since by the time she figured it out she had several bins full of garbage and regulations are 1 bin dump per resident. Anything extra is a not insignificant fee per extra bag. TLDR, woman complained that we moved her garbage bin while collecting her garbage despite us bending the rules to dump her garbage, so we followed rules to the letter and she lived in trash for 2 months. Edit fixed words. Whose cot is it anyway? By user Dance409. It may be petty malicious compliance, but I enjoyed it, anyway. I work for a non-emergency medical team, a driver at work pissed me off and well. Malicious compliance is a bitch. Some background info is needed. This person likes to drive a specific truck. Number 26. And use a very specific cot. Labeled to identify it well. Their truck is currently in the shop. I worked Saturday. I got the schedule for today's runs, Monday. They were scheduled to be in truck number 29 due to their truck being in the shop. Okay. So I move his cot and equipment into the truck. Just a heads up. No other drivers require any special equipment. It's either manual, berry or power cot as scheduled. So this asshat is already getting special attention by having his own assigned cot. The schedule for Tuesday rolls out and I noticed that 29 was assigned to another driver, and his truck is still not ready. So when he pulled in today I went to him and informed him what truck I'm moving his cot to for tomorrow, ideally 34, as it's unassigned for tomorrow's runs. He instantly started throwing a rage fit. Don't touch my shit, damn it. I'm not using another truck. Keep it in this truck. So I did just that. 29 still contains his cot and his equipment. 29 leaves about an hour before he even shows up to work. It is assigned to be out on the road, with a manual cot. His manual cot, have fun.